that a road to Karachi passes through the creek, and Pakistan must never forget this.
Karachi is Pakistan's heartbeat. Karachi is Pakistan's economic capital. And Karachi is vulnerable to Indian interjection or Indian attacks from sea as well also from land. So what Honorable Raksha Mantri ji has said, in case Pakistan tries anything like Pahalgam or Pulwama again, then they should not forget that Karachi is vulnerable and from the Sar Creek area.
We've suffered Pakistani terror so long. Why do we show restraint now? Operation Sindoor was an opportunity when India hit 9 terror bases, 6 radar stations, 11 air bases. We should have hit all 18.
So any war going beyond a particular number of days keeps getting into India's favor because Pakistan's economy cannot sustain a long war. Pakistan's war wastage reserves cannot sustain a long war. We have the depth in economy and in military. So when on 4th day at 3:35 p.m. on 10th May, Pakistan came begging for a ceasefire. And we from the position of strength, in spite of being in a position where we could hit harder, we could hit deeper, we could destroy everything, we acted in a very responsible manner. So they didn't want the outright winner attack to go to India. So their narrative building was this, all this 506070 without any shred of an evidence.
The scorecard: 9 terror bases including Bahawalpur and Muridke, 11 air bases including Noor Khan, and we'll tell you the significance of all the 11 air bases that have been targeted, and holes punched through 6 radar stations and other sensitive military installations. To talk about Operation Sindoor and the untold stories of India's deep strikes in Pakistan, with me is Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon, General Tiny Dhillon, who's just written a book on Operation Sindoor and is talking to us at a time when tensions between India and Pakistan are again on a high, with Defense Minister Rajnath Singh saying that a road to Karachi passes through the creek. General, welcome on the Chakravyuh Podcast.
Thank you, Gaurav, and good day to you and good day to all your viewers. And thank you for having me over this show.
General, what is your reading of Defense Minister Rajnath Singh saying that a road to Karachi passes through the creek, and Pakistan must never forget this?
After Operation Sindoor, the details of which are there in the book and also they are emerging slowly and slowly, Karachi is Pakistan's heartbeat. Karachi is Pakistan's economic capital. And Karachi is vulnerable to Indian interjection or Indian attacks from sea as well also from land. So what Honorable Raksha Mantri ji has said, in case Pakistan tries anything like Pahalgam or Pulwama again, then they should not forget that Karachi is vulnerable and from the Sar Creek area, which is again a bone of contention and Pakistan claims, the road to Karachi passes to Sar Creek is not only Karachi, not only Sar Creek. They both can be handled in one go. And that vulnerability of Pakistan must never forget, and we know it. And we have the strength to achieve it.
You also heard General Upendra Dwivedi, who was talking to the troops, indicating that, God willing, words to the effect, agar Vaheguru ne chaha, then the troops will be across very soon. Now, do you visualize war clouds on the horizon again?
Operation Sindoor 1.0 was conducted with a very clear-cut aim which we wanted to achieve. That was to hit terror targets which caused Pahalgam. So that was our retaliation to Pahalgam and hit only the terror targets. Our intention was not to hit any military installation, no civilian casualties, and no escalation. Now with that aim, when the nations go to war, they have a very well-defined aim. So Operation Sindoor, as you said, within 88 hours, in spite of having the upper hand, in spite of their air defense being down, the air force being grounded, and we hitting their 11 air bases with impunity, in spite of being in that situation within 88 hours, when 2 nuclear powers went to war for the first time in the history, in spite of being in that situation, India showed restraint. India had the might, India had the power to hit more, hit harder, hit deeper.
Okay.
But we showed restraint being a responsible nuclear state, being a responsible country in the community of nations, being a responsible member of the international arena. So we will not show this restraint In case it comes to Operation Sindoor 2.0, that is what the Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi very clearly listed out.
Because, when you are a responsible nuclear weapon state, but you are dealing with a rogue state, then your being responsible is actually seen as weakness, isn't it? And Shathe Shatyam Samachar, it just hit him where it hurts him in the manner in which it hurts him, because in your long career and in this book on Operation Sindoor, you've actually chronicled Pakistani terror right from 1947, from the tribal raiders coming into Jammu Kashmir to the decade of 1980s, spreading terror in Punjab, 1990s in Kashmir, the attack on Parliament, Operation Parakram, and then J&K, and then 2611, all of that. We've suffered Pakistani terror so long. Why do we show restraint now? Operation Sindoor was an opportunity when India hit 9 terror bases, 6 radar stations, 11 air bases. We should have hit all 18.
Gaurav, I understand the sentiments which you are expressing, and those are also the sentiments of the nation, of all our citizens, probably mine also. But again, at the cost of repetition, I will say the responsible nuclear powers, they act in a very responsible manner. We had a declared aim of hitting the terror targets.
Which we did.
And once we achieved that declared aim, we did not want an escalation between two nuclear states. And we did not want instability in the South Asian region. Having said that, once Pakistan retaliated, we again hit their 11 air bases and air defense systems and what have you, and the aircrafts. That was the message to Pakistan, that don't go any further. Otherwise, you will get unacceptable punishment. Now, Pakistan understood that. Pakistan understood it, and because any long war is in India's favor, because of our military might, because of our economic might, because of our resilience and our capability to absorb the war efforts. So any war going beyond a particular number of days keeps getting into India's favor, because Pakistan's economy cannot sustain a long war. Pakistan's war wastage reserves cannot sustain a long war. We have the depth in economy and in military. So when on 4th day at 3:35 p.m. on 10th May, Pakistan came begging for a ceasefire, and we, from the position of strength, in spite of being in a position where we could hit harder, we could hit deeper, we could destroy everything, we acted in a very responsible manner. As I said, being a responsible nuclear state, we accepted their request for ceasefire.
But
now,
sir,
that was victory.
That was victory.
Yeah.
I'll come to the point of explaining parameters of victory, because in the good old days, victory would have meant either taking territory or taking prisoners of war, or the world should acknowledge that yes, you won. Here we know we won, but yet Pakistan claims it has won. How do you see that?
See, Gaurav, like you very rightly said, in good old days, it was anyone who has captured more territory of the other party was supposed to be declared a winner. Like in Bangladesh, 1971, when 93,000 prisoners of war surrendered. I'm not talking of capture. Capturing is a military thing. You went down fighting and the enemy captures you, it's okay, like Group Captain Abhinandan. He did not surrender. Whereas in East Pakistan, 93,000 soldiers surrendered, laid down their weapons, saluted, signed a document of surrender. So that is victory. Here in this war, Operation Sindoor war, a very different thing happened. Not a single soldier or a single tank or a single gun crossed the international boundary or the line of control. Now, how do you define victory? In this case, now I will give out certain parameters which will define victory in a war like Operation Sindoor. When we, at our own will, hit 9 targets with precision, and we said we do not want escalation, this was a retaliation to your act of terrorism in Pahalgam. Now, that was victory with strength.
But then he responded.
When they responded, and when we hit their 11 air bases, their air defense could not do anything, their air force could not do anything, none of our missiles were intercepted by any of their military hardware. Now, that was victory on day 4. When they went running to Saudi Arabia and America, asking for intervening for ceasefire. Now, that was victory. When they were told it's a bilateral, you speak directly to India, when their DGMO picks up a phone, calls up our DGMO and begs for a ceasefire. When he begs for a ceasefire, and we being in the position which we were, a position of causing more damage and more harm to Pakistan, militarily and economically, we being a responsible person, we accepted that request for ceasefire. Now that was victory. Now this is what the victory in this particular circumstances is. Short of just signing a document to say, okay, we request for ceasefire, there are recordings in the DGMO office of all the talks which happen. So victory can be measured in very many ways. And these were hard victories.
So you said Operation Sindoor was a hard victory. If we had continued to hit him longer, let's say 24 hours longer, 48 hours longer, we would have pulverized him even more. You know, because now when Pakistan in all caps responds, Pakistan dheet hai, badnaam hai, or, you know, there's a terminology that they use, beghairat, you know, a country without honor. Yeah. I can well understand that. Today they're responding to us in all caps, saying we will hit, we showed restraint, now we will hit 2,000 kilometers deep inside you. So we won, but within 3 months, he's barking again.
Gaurav, whatever they're saying, like Asim Munir said, we will take down half the world with us in a nuclear strike. He said we'll hit their dams. No, and now the 2,000 kilometer deep. All these weapon systems or military hardware was there with them during Operation Sindoor. So why couldn't they do it that time? They were not allowed to do it that time. We had pressed them so badly, their air defense, the air force, and we know exactly what is stored where, and everything is within our range.
Sir, can you explain that we had pressed them and we'd sorted them out in Operation Sindoor? Can you explain that to our viewers?
See, when we select the 9 terror targets and we hit them with such precision and such weapon systems which penetrate the roof, which penetrate the floor and go and explode in the basement. Now that is the accuracy of intelligence. That is the accuracy of the precision weapon systems we matched with the target. And then when we hit their 11 air bases, one air base where there are 2 airstrips which are crossing like this, and we hit at the center of that intersection, making both the airstrips non-operational. And when we hit their aircrafts in the air at the ranges beyond 300 kilometers, and all their air bases which are facing India are within 300 kilometers from international boundary. When their aerial platform gets hit at 300 kilometers from international boundary, their pilots refuse to get airborne. Their air defense was not able to intercept our missiles. And when we hit the 11 air bases, they realize if the war has to continue, there will be unacceptable damage which will be caused to Pakistan's military hardware and economic infrastructure, that Pakistan will not be able to rise from the rebels. So that is where they begged for ceasefire. And that is when, in spite of being in a position to decimate the enemy once and for all, we showed restraint, we showed strategic restraint, we showed military restraint, we showed democratic restraint. Okay. Because of the responsibility we have as a democratic country, as a nuclear power, as a 1/6 of the world.
So why did it take the air chief to give out details? Of course, we knew that advanced early warning and airborne command and control system, or a SIGINT aircraft, signal intelligence aircraft, was shot 320 kilometers in the sky. So they've had fatalities there. 4 to 5 F-16s/JF-17s destroyed on ground, 5 to 6 lost in the air, including F-16s. That's a huge loss for Pakistan. Pakistan day one has been saying 666 to our fighters. Why did we have to wait 3 months to then say you've lost 12 or 13 or 14 aircraft on ground and in air?
In my previous answer, I used the word responsible. Responsible nuclear state, responsible democracy, responsible military. We don't make claims where we don't have the evidence or proof to support our claims. Pakistan keeps saying, their Prime Minister said 5-0, then he said 6-0. In UN, he goes and says 7 Indian jets down. By end of the year, they will reach the figure of 30 or 40 by this rate. So we do not make claims where there are no videographic evidence or a photographic evidence or a satellite imagery evidence or the evidence of rebels. Whereas they can keep making whatever claims. Not a single claim is supported by any evidence. So our air chief, the point which you made, what took so long for the air chief to come and say that these are our targets, or these were our achievements, or these were our kills. See, when war is there, when you are crossing the international boundary on ground and in air, you go and strike a particular place, the same aircraft on its way back or then only takes a picture of the target damage. That is called post-strike damage assessment. Or a next sortie goes and picks up the image of that area, and that is a post-strike damage assessment, which can be analyzed and then shared with the world or media if you want to. In this case, no aircraft crossed the line of control or international boundary. So there were no post-strike damage assessment pictures from the same aircraft or the next aircraft sorting. Images came from satellite imagery. Those had to be analyzed. They had to be corroborated by multiple sources. And when we have to analyze, we have to corroborate with multiple sources, as also the cameras fitted on the projectiles which went and hit. It takes time to gather all this intelligence. And that is what air chiefs use the word, हमने कुरेद के निकाली है. And he says if Pakistan wants to know the results, they must do it. But Pakistan is just making claims without any evidence. So we, being a responsible military, responsible air force, responsible army, responsible country, we do not make claims unless they're supported by evidence. And one most pertinent point which your viewers must know, none of our claims has been refuted by anyone across the world, including Pakistan.
True.
That means our claims are on solid footing. And as a responsible nation, we will not make a claim unless it is supported.
Does this also indicate that while this is a war that was fought on ground, there is one aspect of information war, and we'll talk about that in a little while. There is also a war of arms lobbies, that India had a BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, that's India and Russia, the S-400 that's Russian, the Rafales that are French, the Su-30 MKI is mated with BrahMos, again India, Russia, our entire Akash Tir system which is integrated and owned, indigenous and many other indigenous weapons that were used, versus the Chinese weapons and the F-16s. So is it the case that the F-16 lobby and the Chinese lobby did better than the Rafale, the Russian and the Indian arms manufacturers?
Gaurav, I explained this aspect of lobbying and narrative building and counter narratives and war of narratives or battle of narratives in my book in great detail. I have also explained Akash Tir, which you just referred to, the indigenous system, in great detail again in the book. Anyway, now coming to a question which you're asking. The battle of narrative was not being fought on the India-Pakistan border as to how many targets destroyed, how many air bases destroyed, or how many weapon systems you lost or we lost. The battle of narrative was being built somewhere else. Like as you said, on Indian side, there were indigenous weapon systems. There were Indian joint venture weapon system, there were Russian weapon system, French weapon system. Other side was Chinese radars, Chinese missiles, Chinese aircrafts, the Turkish drones, and the Western Bloc aircrafts, which are only there on the inventory. Now, point to mention or understand here is, in case India is declared outright winner, which it was, when the enemy comes to you begging for ceasefire, that means you are winning. If India was declared outright winner, all the orders from third world countries for the defense hardware, for the military hardware, would fall in the lap of Indian weapons, Russian weapons, and French weapons. And Chinese and Turkish and others will lose their customers who are wanting to buy military hardware. And military hardware is a very, very big market. So is the military lobbying, the defense establishment or defense industry lobby. So they didn't want the outright winner tag to go to India. So their narrative building was all this 50, 60, 70 without any shred of an evidence, is a narrative which was built by this arms lobby. And the number of physical casualties which have happened in Pakistan, and number of casualties on the runway, number of aircraft casualties in the air, all these are indications with proof. The book has got all the details as to who won, who lost. In fact, there is a subchapter who won, who lost. So that lobby was playing this narrative game, and that is a thing which is going to stay for future wars also. And we must do our narrative building more transparently, more strongly, more effectively.
There's one aspect I want to refer to that's there in your book, Operation Sindoor, the untold story of India's deep strikes. And I'd put this here so that I could come to this. Pakistan accepts military casualties.
Yes.
I'd covered the Kargil war in 1999 when they didn't. And they don't accept their bodies at LC pretty frequently. And who knows that better than you? I want to focus on this line, sir, where you've said, ever since Operation Sindoor hostilities ceased on 10th May, Pakistan has been trying to hide the casualties it suffered during the operation, but a supposedly triumphant list of gallantry awards published by Pakistan's Sama TV on August 14 on Pakistan's Independence Day has instead turned into a grim reminder of India's devastating realization of the Pahalgam retaliation for the Pahalgam massacre. The channel revealed the names of 138 Pakistan Army personnel honored posthumously, all suffixed to the title Shaheed. Explain this, sir. 138 Shaheeds post Operation Sindoor. What does this show?
See, every country on the Independence Day or like our Republic Day, we publish the list of gallantry awards. Some posthumously, some with serving. Now, in this case, on 14th of August 2025, Pakistan declared 138 gallantry awards posthumously. Means the skilled soldiers and officers. Their names are there, the awards which they have been given, they're there in the book. And those 138 suffixed with Shaheed was published by Sama TV of Pakistan and later on taken off when the flag came. Now, if 138 killed soldiers and officers have been awarded a gallantry award, and there are some who are not awarded in spite of getting killed in the battle, now you can estimate the number of physical casualties which would have happened during Operation Sindoor on Pakistan side, the serving military personnel.
There's one aspect of Operation Sindoor not many people know about, and that's about Indian Army's punitive fire assaults at the line of control. Sir, there was an incident that took place in Leepa Valley, and this is where Pakistan suffered massive casualties. What can you tell us about what happened at the Leepa Valley when India carried out a fire assault? And explain a fire assault.
See, all the aspects of battle of line of control, again, has been covered in the book in one long chapter, giving all the details what actually happened on the line of control, how the fire assaults happened. Now, coming to, first I'll explain what is a fire assault for the benefit of the viewer. Fire assault is, you gather all your RT either at one place, or the RT pieces or RT guns can be at different places, but the target end is chosen as one single target area. So weapons from different areas, or if they gather together in same area, in mountains it's difficult to get all the guns in one place. So different guns with different ranges are given the target A, suppose Leepa Valley. Now Leepa Valley was selected as a target and different guns were given, and there's something called time on target. A particular gun system, if it has to travel 30 kilometers, may take, say, X number of seconds. Other gun system has to only travel, the weapon, the projectile has to only travel, say, 12 kilometers, say X seconds, Y second. Third one is Z second. So all these weapons fire, time on target minus the time of flight. Suppose 6:30 p.m. is the time on target. If that weapon system has got a 40 seconds time of flight, it will fire 40 seconds before 6:30. Other one will fire 12 seconds before 6:30, so that all the bombs land on the target at the same time, causing the maximum destruction in the first salvo. This concentration of bombs is called a salvo, because the enemy would be least expecting it, and some of them will be sitting in the open, not in the trenches. So maximum casualties are caused in the first salvo. By the time the second salvo comes, people take shelter, or they get into the dugouts or underground trenches. So in the Leepa Valley, a similar fire assault, it happened in a lot of other places also. But in Leepa Valley Pass, since you refer to it, I have spent my lifetime there, starting with captain and then as a corps commander. Leepa Valley is in a bowl. Our forces are on Shamshabari, which overlooks the Leepa Valley. And there are two sides, fingers which are going on, which are looking down into Leepa Valley. And Leepa Valley happens to be a brigade headquarter of Pakistan Army. So it is easy to look at the target from multiple observation posts. So number of observation posts who can correct a fire to bring it effectively on the center of the target, that advantage is with India. It is similarly in many other places. So since we are talking of a particular area, so I'm giving that particular. So when different guns from various directions are firing onto the objective, and various observation posts can physically see and correct the fire, and that means the effectiveness of the fire on the target is the maximum. And this fire assault in Leepa Valley has taken maximum physical casualties of Pakistan soldiers and officers.
And there was a specific reason for it also.
And a particular brigadier of Pakistan Army, whom Army Chief quoted when he was releasing this book, Operation Sindoor, the untold story of India's deep strikes inside Pakistan. Army Chief quoted that brigadier जिसका intercept लिया था, whose intercept we had taken, कि फाइल छोड़ो और जान बचाकर भागो. That was Muzaffarabad Bhago. Now that is where the
brigadier of the
Pakistan Army, because that's a brigade headquarter and the brigade commander would be there. And Muzaffarabad is the nearest, biggish place. So he was saying कि फाइलें छोड़ो, जान बचाकर मुजफ्फराबाद भागो. So this is the fire assault.
And this is a story which has not come out in public domain to a very large extent, and that is why, on Chakravyuh, I want you to know what the army did, and I've had the privilege, like in 2019, and I'll talk about 2019 in just a moment, when General Tiny Dhillon was the Kashmir Corps commander, and that's the time when Pulwama terror attack happened and the counter operations had started on ground. I'll tell you about that how terrorists were just neutralized at that point of time. I covered some of it on ground, but Leepa Valley, there was a battalion interchange apparently going on according to intelligence inputs on the other side. So there were 2 battalions there of the Pakistan Army. They were all out in the open, and that's when the fire assault is believed to have taken place, is what my sources had told me. And their casualties, this 138 shaheeds, majority come out of there, where they left everything, including their weapons, and they ran.
Gaurav, without going into the actuals, without going into the numbers or the battalions or who are adequate to say, there were many troops who were without shelter and who were in the open, and they were killed in that fire assault. And that type of fire assault, that type of mass casualties, you refer to 138 shaheed, be given gallantry award. Maximum of these casualties, including those who are not even given any award, but they had died fighting, maximum of these casualties of soldiers and officers happened in the line of control sector. And that I have covered in the book in one full chapter on the line of control.
What is India's assessment? How many soldiers would Pakistan have lost during Operation Sindoor?
See, I would leave it to the official figures as and when they come out. But if 138 have been given a gallantry award, you can easily say 2.5 to 3 times to 4 times would have actually died. And in any army, in any military in the world, if these many casualties would have happened, and Asim Munir was the chief of that military, Asim Munir would have been sacked.
Would have been sacked.
He would have been sacked, because no military can afford to lose so many men in one single fire assault or in one single battle on the line of control, and still you become a field marshal. Anywhere else, professional military, the chief would have been sacked.
I want to understand from you, and now that we have benefit of the hindsight, Asim Munir is Pakistan's army chief. What is your reading of Asim Munir's speech, not just in the United States of America, where he said, and in a very constipated expression that he has, that we'll take down half the world with us. But before that, when he spoke of we are 2 different people, we are completely different. It's almost like Jinnah's 2-nation theory. He's, peddling once again. But sir, what has he, under his watch, Pakistan's Punjab province has been hit repeatedly. Muridke and Bahawalpur have never been hit. You must have wanted to hit.
I written in the book.
Yeah.
After 1971, Pakistan's Punjab province has not been hit. Balakot, Pakistan's KPK was hit, but Pakistan's Punjab has never been hit after 1971. So this is the first time that Bahawalpur, Muridke and other air bases going down south right up to the edge of Pakistan have been hit, and hit with impunity and precision.
Now, on his watch, you've had Pakistan Punjab province being hit in terms of Muridke and Bahawalpur, Lashkar headquarters, Jaish headquarters. Plus, you have Noor Khan, which is Pakistan Army's main command and control structure.
Very sensitive.
Center. Very sensitive. Being hit. I believe he himself was in an underground bunker. So, that is what I've heard. Then, you have Bolari in Sindh that's been hit. You had Rahim Yar Khan, which is apparently non-operational. Sargodha, Jacobabad. So, in all, 11 bases being hit. Yeah. AWACS being down in the sky, AWACS down on ground, or AEWNC down on ground. If 10, 12 aircraft have been hit, if hundreds of soldiers have been killed, what does this speak of the army chief? How can he be elevated? Are Pakistanis silly, dumb, stupid, or worse? What is your reading? How can he be promoted as field marshal?
Sorry. Any military expert who knows his job, and he would have analyzed with so much of losses in one single strike or one single package strike, if I can use that word loosely, would have, any country would have suffered so many losses. The military expert would say this country is not fit for fighting a war. Your air defense is destroyed, your air force is not getting airborne, and enemy is destroying your aircrafts on ground, in the air, enemy is destroying your installations and airfields and airstrips and air defense radars on ground with impunity. And enemy is hitting very close to some very sensitive installations of yours. We talked about Noor Khan, we talked about Jakwabad, we talked about Sargoda. Now, without going into details, now, if something like this has happened within first 72 hours to 88 hours, and then you're begging for ceasefire, that only means that any more extension of the war would have been catastrophic for that nation, which is already in doldrums with the economic problems which they have, political problems which they have, and military problems, lesser said the better. So, but again, we as a responsible nation, we accepted that request for ceasefire, which a lot of many people in the country feel that we should not have, and we should have gone another full throttle for a few more days.
No, but that's a very big point you're making. You are saying Pakistan army is not fit for war.
Yes, the way they showed it in the 4-day war, the way they showed it in Bangladesh, the way they showed it in Kargil, leaving their dead soldiers behind on Indian soil and not even accepting the dead bodies when they were offered. 13 Jacrif, Colonel Joshi, the officiating CEO that time, now General Joshi, they gave a decent burial to their soldiers on the Kargil heights as per the religious rites of that army. उनके soldiers अभी भी हमारी सरजमी में गड़े हुए हैं. And how can that army be called professional army? Indian army has an honor code. We don't leave anyone behind. We don't leave even our dead behind. That is professionalism. So military में, ethos, honor codes, traditions, regimentations, they play a major role. And any soldier or officer or a unit which does not follow this cannot be a good professional outfit.
But and then this picture of Asim Munir with a briefcase, trying to peddle some rare earth minerals to Donald Trump, and now he's trying to peddle the Pasni port to America. What is your reading of what Pakistan is up to?
See, giving Gwadar to China, now, promising Pasni, which is just about 70 kilometers east of Gwadar on the Makran coast into the Arabian Sea, to USA, and then the briefcase with the rare earth minerals, so to say. All the rare earth minerals are in Balochistan or KPK. Now, if someone has to mine them, they have to take it out from Pakistan by sea route. Now, for that, the Pasni seaport is being developed or being promised or being given. Now, sovereignty, the autonomy, the strategic autonomy of a nation, all these questions the Pakistani public will ask. These rare earth minerals are a property of Pakistan or Balochistan or KPK. Now, trying to give it away, we don't know the terms and conditions. Who is getting what out of it? The most important question the Pakistan citizenry must ask is, what is Pakistan getting out of it? And given the history and the background of people taking their cuts in between, you don't know. The more facts will come out in the future.
So are you suggesting that Pakistan army generals are enriching themselves and Pakistan is becoming a poorer country? Pakistan is bankrupt. I think 25th time they've gone to the IMF, and generals keep becoming richer and richer and richer.
That's how the history speaks for itself. That's how. Show me one retired army chief who is in Pakistan today, in the recent past. Show me one prime minister who stays in Pakistan after he is ousted. He is either abroad or either in jail. So there is a history to it. And that is the reason the citizens of Pakistan must question these things.
When you talk about the ramifications of Operation Sindoor, And when you look at what's happening in this region, Gwadar, Pakistan has given to China. I don't know if China's making money or it's, $60 billion are sunk in Gwadar, and America will come into Pasni. America also wants the Bagram Air Base. There appears to be a great game that is on, and Afghanistan's foreign minister is coming to India. What's happening, sir?
See, if you look at the map, there is Indian Ocean, the warm waters of Indian Ocean, and then Arabian Sea going into Pakistan, the southern Pakistan, the Makran coast, as we said, starting from Gwadar, or rather further east of Gwadar, coming right up to Sar Creek. Now, anyone who has to approach with the navy or the sea route, this is the route. And now Pakistan is sitting at the mouth of Persian Gulf, the energy capital of the world. It is sitting at the mouth of Strait of Hormuz, where all the energy shipping passes through. On the west of Pakistan, on the west of Pakistan is Iran.
Correct.
So to say, the unfinished agenda. On to north is Afghanistan, again, so to say, Bagram and all, the unfinished agenda. On to northeast and further east and east are Russia, China, and India, the competitors of today and also of tomorrow. Now, if in this whole thing, Iran, Afghanistan, Russia, China, India, and by extension, the Central Asian Republic, where people have economic interests. Now, in this whole region, if someone has to be present and has to show its presence, neither Iran, nor Afghanistan, nor Russia, nor China, nor India will give them airspace or air bases. Only Pakistan is the country which is so strategically located by approach through the sea routes and willing to give away everything which you want for money. So that's why Pakistan's relevance in this region is there, and Pakistan's position, they can be bought with some dollars. No other country will bow to pressures. So this is a geostrategical analysis of this region in a very short while. There are extensions to it, but point is, Pakistan's journals know the importance of their geostrategic location.
So explain this, sir. While generals may want to sell off their country and go abroad with money, the way Pakistani generals are behaving right now, and Asim Munir in particular, he and Shahbaz Sharif have agreed to Trump's agenda on Gaza. Won't that become very unpopular amongst the people of Pakistan? They may want to furiously backpedal, but will America let them backpedal? Point one. And point two, Pakistan has both Shias and Sunnis, and you have the Shias in Iran. Pakistan-Iran relations are not good. Pakistan-Afghanistan relations are not good. Pakistan-India relations are not good. And will this lead to internal trouble within Pakistan?
In addition to what you already said, the moment Americans come at Pasni, and Gwadar is just 70 kilometers away, which is a Chinese port base, even China will feel uncomfortable. That's a different story, that from Gwadar, the land route, the CPEC, passes through the Great Himalayas and goes and touches the western part of Tibet.
Correct.
Whereas most of the economic activities of China are on the east coast.
Correct.
So it is not economically viable, and 6 months the road remains closed.
Because of heavy snowfall.
Heavy snowfall and all. And it is not economically viable to carry anything from Gwadar by land and take it to east coast where the consumption is.
Unless they alternate oil.
And unless there's something which happens. As on today, as things stand today, it is not economically viable. And now you have a Chinese presence, you have the American presence. And the big, great game, like we are discussing. So let's see how things unfold. But it's going to make China also uncomfortable, in addition to Iran, Afghanistan, and India.
In such a scenario, when Pakistan is in trouble, each time, if you go by history, each time Pakistan is in trouble, it tries to unite its country by launching a terror attack in India. And we've seen that so many times.
Absolutely.
Now that Pakistan is in trouble, do you foresee do you visualize another terror attack on our country?
See, this has been the past experience. Whenever the economy is in doldrums, the population is asking questions, to divert attention, they will do something which binds them together. And that is exactly what the army chief said. If you try something like this again, Operation Sindoor 2.0 will be so devastating. Like he used the word Bhugol. The geography will change. So I think that statement is not without a reason. And what's happening inside Pakistan, the way Pakistan is getting frustrated, what's happening in POJK, all those processions and rallies. So there is a trouble which is brewing inside Pakistan, and slowly that narrative कि हम जीत के इतने jets down, उतने jets down, is also falling flat. The citizens are realizing the truth thanks to the internet and the availability of data.
और फिर मतलब you may be as stupid as a Pakistani, but you can't be stupid enough not to see a bomb falling in your backyard, whether it's Noor Khan or Sargodha or Rahim Yar Khan or Bulari, all over Pakistan.
Maximum videos, in fact, I'll say 100% videos of the Indian bombs falling either on terror hubs or on the air bases were uploaded by Pakistani citizens
Correct.
on TikTok or on YouTube or on Twitter or Instagram. So that was the first evidence. Now, if the Pakistani citizens have recorded those, it must have circulated within the WhatsApp groups and all. So they all know. And given the, our citizens and Pakistani citizens would probably behave in a similar manner if similar bombs had fallen in our territory. We also have enough people who would have made the videos and who would have uploaded it. Not a single video of Pakistani strike inside India has been uploaded on any channel whatsoever.
And वो जो उनकी मिसाइल इंटरसेप्ट होके रेमिनेंट्स गिरे,
Yeah.
उसका वीडियो पब्लिक
उसका वीडियो है, वो है, बिल्कुल है उसका वीडियो. So that is how the narrative, the false narrative of 50, 60, 70, I don't know how many zero, that is falling flat slowly and people are asking questions.
Ultimately, the truth shall triumph. That is
Truth
the message.
always triumphs.
But then in future warfare, because when Pulwama happened, you were not only, and I've had the privilege of reporting India's counter-terror operations, even though we had some casualties and very unfortunate casualties, including officers getting injured and killed in action. You were able to dominate the narrative warfare also that time throughout whatever Pakistan was saying. How did you do that, and what is the lesson here?
See, ideal way to blast a narrative is being truthful and being transparent.
And real time.
And you can't say कि आज Saturday Sunday या Monday को काम करेंगे. Narrative building is time bound. Narrative destruction is time bound. And as a corps commander, I did it at the corps level, and you have covered it live at national level.
As DGDIA.
As the DGDIA, one was doing and one knew exactly what's happening. But today, after the benefit of Operation Sindoor and this battle of narratives, again, which there is a chapter in the book, there is a need at national level to have integrated information center, which will drive our truth, our transparency, our narrative, and shatter enemies' narratives. And here, when I say integrated information center, for want of any better name, it means it has to be integrated. It has to have people from all walks of life. Diplomatic, military, home ministry, economic, students and social media, the IT sector, AI. And it is not supposed to be कि आज वो is a civil servant in agriculture ministry, चलो उसको post कर दो. He is a civil servant in revenue, चलो उसको post कर दो. No. It has to be under the Prime Minister's office or under the NSA directly, and it has to be the subject matter experts. There can be an 80-year-old veteran or 80-year-old civil servant who has the knack of managing, emotions, managing the way narratives are built and the way it's shattered. And it can be an 18-year-old student who has the knack of AI and technology and social media. So they can be employed. It can be a pure civilian. He can be from serving, but it should not be just because iska tenure khatam ho gaya. Now we have to post him somewhere. Chalo, they are asking for a brigadier. Isko kar do.
So, but beyond information, actual warfare, because truth will triumph, and especially in this interconnected world and social media, it will emerge. No matter wo Pakistani kitna jhoot bole, nobody believes that truth except the Pakistanis and people they pay. Whoever is taking money either from them or arms lobbies will believe them, but you can do nothing about it. But I want to understand from you, are you visualizing a Sindoor 2.0 or a terror attack 2.0, and in what time frame?
See, I will not hazard a guess, but point is Pakistan will not, mend its ways. Pakistan, the state-sponsored terror, has been their policy, although they may not accept it, but the whole world knows about it. So that policy of theirs cannot, because that thing has gone too deep into their governance. And that is their mainstay. That is how they distract their citizens from internal problems. And Pakistan will always attempt. In fact, during Operation Sindoor, I have given examples in the book. They were trying to infiltrate terrorists so that they come and disrupt our lines of communication. We destroyed the launchpads. I have given the photographs of that destroyed launchpad. So Pakistan, if during Operation Sindoor was not resisting from sending in the terrorist, he will do it. He will do it again. And whenever he does it, or anything, India will respond, and that is what the Chief of Army Staff was alluding to.
No, but is there an apprehension that it could escalate to a full-fledged conventional war? So far, you were able to control it in 88 days. Could it escalate? Could it become unlimited? Like Russia-Ukraine war is on for 3 years. Israel and Hamas has been on for practically 2 years. There may be temporary peace, but that conflict situation still remains. Is there an apprehension that that could destabilize our economy? वो तो मरा ही स्टेट है, तो वो तो बोलेगा मेरी एक आंख फूट जाए अगर दुश्मन की दोनों आंख फूट जाए. That's his mentality.
See, firstly, 2-3 points you raised, I'll cover one by one. Firstly, what Army Chief said. In Operation 2.0, we will not show the restraint which we showed in Operation 1.0. We showed a restraint in spite of being in a winning position, in spite of our economy supporting us, in spite of our military might supporting us. We showed responsibility as a responsible nuclear state. Now, if Pakistan does it again, it has been told in no unclear terms, this time we will not show restraint. This time we will employ all our military might, all our nation's might. The comprehensive national power will be applied against the enemy to get the best results. Now, having said that, the point which you are making, that Russia-Ukraine war is going for so long, and Hamas-Israel war, Iran-Israel war is the conflict going for so long. From our point of view, there is something called war-fighting stamina. The war-fighting stamina roughly means the capability of a nation to fight a war. Not only the military stamina, there is economic stamina, there is a diplomatic stamina, there is a political will. That also has a stamina. And as a nation, how long can we say, no, right or wrong, we will fight this war? So India's war-fighting stamina, purely from the political will point of view, from the military point of view, military might point of view, and economic backing point of view. Our war-fighting stamina is n number of times higher than Pakistan. So moment the war extends beyond 4 or 5 days, with each passing day, Pakistan will keep becoming weaker and weaker militarily and economically, whereas our war-fighting stamina, the difference, will keep increasing with each passing day.
And neither China nor Saudi Arabia nor America, their either presence in Pakistan or their assistance to Pakistan will spur it to continue fighting?
That is where when I said it's a nation's war-fighting stamina. It is comprehensive national power, which includes our diplomacy. So our diplomacy, like in Operation Sindoor 2.0 also, not a single nation said that what you are doing is wrong. Because our diplomacy had worked in those 15 days to form the world opinion in our favor. Similarly, in case of Operation Sindoor 2.0, diplomacy will make arrangements or will make an environment wherein, in spite of the presence of China and Gwadar, Pasni or what have you, we will be able to achieve our declared aim.
And just before I let you go, sir, though it's a little not a part of Operation Sindoor, they say that, both Imran Khan and Asim Munir cannot exist in the same Pakistan. They hate each other too much. Do you foresee a situation that Imran Khan will be sorted out, neutralized, killed, thrown out of the country for Asim Munir to survive? Or could there be an uprising by Imran Khan supporters, a lot of them, of course, jailed and weakened otherwise, for Asim Munir to continue, because America also would want a dictator to carry out America's tasks in the region?
In the olden days, there used to be a statement, Pakistan is governed by 3 A's.
Yes.
America, Allah, and army.
Correct.
And not necessarily in the same order.
Correct.
So that is still there. So this, I don't make political statement, but this power struggle between Imran Khan wanting a democratic Pakistan, and Asim Munir, the type of democracy which it has and military's strong hold over the country. I think this will continue, and in the end, going by the history, Pakistan army will continue to control the Pakistan as a state.
But not to fight a war, but to make money. That is your assessment.
They-
वो
they-
cement भी बनाते हैं, jelly भी बनाते हैं,
See,
cornflakes भी
if
बनाते
they
हैं.
fight a war like they did in 1971, those days there was no internet, there was no social media, and they could tell the public, कि, you know, we lost because not lost, because we did this, we did this, we did it, लेकिन जीते हम ही हैं. Operation Sindoor में भी, in spite of the social media, internet and everything available to fact check, still they're telling the public कि जीते हम ही हैं, जीते हम ही हैं.
And they're dancing also.
Yeah, so that apart.
Very fun.
So that will continue. That is the reason I'm saying we need to have that integrated information center, or call it by whatever name, where our narrative, our truth, our transparency should be there with evidence for the world to see, including the Pakistanis.
That's a very interesting point you make, sir, and I will let that be the last word on this part of the show. But the fact remains that we are visualizing tension with Pakistan on the horizon. Each time Pakistan is weak, it will try and destabilize India or try a terror attack in India to unite their own country. And that actually shows the nature of the beast that India is dealing with. Just to survive, he has to bleed India. General Dhillon, as always, for joining me on this Chakravyuh special broadcast. Many thanks.
Thank you, Gaurav, and thank you to the viewers, and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. So it just to come out of this Chakravyuh, this is a Chakravyuh that India is in. We require every weapon. We require Arjun's skill and Krishna's guidance to be able to win and come out of this Chakravyuh of Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. And as Yogeshwar Shri Krishna said in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Hathova prapyasi swargam, jitva va bhokshasi mahim, tasmaduttishta konteya, yuddhai krit nishchaya. If you win in battle, you rule this earth. If you're killed in battle, then you go to heaven. Either ways, victory is yours. You rule over an earth as beautiful as heaven. Take a firm resolve and fight. Your motto, sir, Veer Bhogya
Veer Bhogya
Vasundhara.
Vasundhara. The brave shall inherit the earth.
The brave shall inherit the earth. Veer Bhogya Vasundhara.